Hello, my wonderful people, and welcome back here to Bod TV, but where we they analyze the trends where they happen in the area. I salute now. Food chairs, una do it. Hey, una too much, not too much, not too much. Straight to what we go straight. One dive into it we get proper today. See, so I didn't say the EU, no come out, can't talk about this election procedures and everything we they do. So I need chairman for not talk, abi. It don't wrong come out, don't they talk say the election was free and fair, say they try, now so they do this, now so they do that, say the 2023 general election was one of the most meticulously prepared for. Hey, see English. Hey, INEC now available. First coming out, the first time where they come out since all the elections we be say they do. Now this, I don't want my cause. Now this man they come out, they address Nigerians about the 2023 election. What a shame. What a shame. So I didn't say EU not talk. They not discredit the election. So if you not come out, can't talk, abi. Not the way this man not talk. Oh. He not the way not talk. You see, that one of the most peaceful elections since the year 1999 when they entered democracy. In fact, I go show now the video. I go show now the video when I hear with that INEC chairman talk. Mahmoud. Wait he talk. Yakubu Mahmoud. When I go hear with him talk. I shame for him. I shame not be here. Where they go court today, I will call here say everything we say they present, they blood. They not say what they present. All the documents where they say me they present am. If we just self not feel to do they present. If so, INEC cannot account how Tinubu take win. They go bring documents come we say they not feel read. Like seriously, every other document you presented were all cleared. How come the one we be say it can't carry the essential, thing, the most important one, they can't they blood, they don't see anything. Don't know we may who do us, who do us. I like chairman. Yeah. Kenneth Okonkwo come out to insi talk enter into chook in your mouth put for the side this matter and other lawyers they still chook their mouth inside this whole matter. My people, I go show now all the evidence. Me no be like say they talk through well. You know say yeah, if you take time for us to gather out this evidence, but surely we will show now. Mokuna see. What did INEC chairman? Hey, and the team they do. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Even Festus, what did they call that? Oh God, I know what my course. That lawyer, we call himself Festus Keyamu. He can't come out, can't talk rubbish. In fact, you see all those rumors where they go on for internet, they say, fake news. Nah, fake news. They don't identify them right now. Say now, they spread the fake news within Nigeria. Any small law they go wrong, go Twitter, they'll go begin they type, they'll go begin. Now then they spread the fake news. Can you imagine? Here you discredit waiting INEC do. Nobody, all out of all those those fat belly politicians and those lawyers, no one fit stand for the truth. All they really come out, if you not get it right, they don't know anything, they don't do this, this is their country, they can do whatever they like. My people, see, short video. Now I just do you're giving a bam. I want to show on a BOD TV board where we analyze all the trends where they happen. Bring me one small package and we will deliver them for your doorstep. Forget make you like, share, and subscribe this video.
As always, I welcome you all to this meeting. The purpose is to reflect on the subject matter of the just concluded 2023 general election. Following the conclusion of the election, the time has come for introspection, stock-taking, review, and evaluation. Since the conclusion of the election, diverse opinions have been expressed by political parties, candidates, observers, analysts, and the general public on aspects of the elections that took place in February and March. Such diverse opinions should normally be expected and the Commission welcomes all of them insofar as their purpose is to improve the future conduct of elections and to consolidate our democracy. The Commission has consciously not joined in these commentaries in the immediate aftermath of the election for several reasons. First, our preference is to listen more and draw lessons rather than join in the heated and often emotive discussion on the election. Second, since we plan to conduct our own review of the election, we see no need to preempt the process. Third, the Commission would not want to be seen as defensive or justificatory in joining the ongoing discussions. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, several issues around the election are sub judice, and it is not the intention of the Commission to either undermine or promote the chances of litigants in the various election petition courts beyond what is required of us by the legal process. Indeed, practically anything coming from the Commission could be cited by litigants as either justifying their claims or an indication of bias against them. The foregoing notwithstanding, it is appropriate at this point to make a few broad remarks about the 2023 general election as we commence our review of the same election. In doing this, it is necessary to look at the entire process before, during, and after the election to make an informed assessment. Granted that events on election day are probably the most important in terms of optics of elections, it is also very essential to look at the totality of the process. This is necessary if we are to learn the full lessons of the election going forward. Compared to some previous elections, we believe that the 2023 general election was one of the most meticulously prepared for in recent times. Learning from previous experiences, we started preparations immediately after the 2019 general election, carefully ticking the necessary boxes over a 4-year period. It is the need to learn from both the positives and the shortcomings that makes the stock taking that we are embarking upon today very essential. Among the positive stories is that the security challenge which threatened to derail the elections did not materialize. Concerns that the polls will be disrupted by the perennial insecurity across the country fizzled out on election day, as the elections were largely peaceful. Despite currency and fuel challenges and widespread attacks on our personnel and facilities nationwide, the Commission proceeded with the election as scheduled. The first set of elections, the Presidential and National Assembly, held as planned for the first time in the last 4 general elections conducted in the country. Accreditation using the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS, has generally been scored very high by voters. Our records show that the success rate of the BVAS accreditation stands at 98% compared to the smart card readers' 29.2% during the 2019 general election. Above all, despite the divergent opinions about the outcome of the election, the overall outlook suggests that it is fair reflection of a complex multi-party democracy. We wish to remind Nigerians that elections were held for a total of 1,491 constituencies, made up of 1 presidential, 28 governorship, 109 senatorial, 360 federal constituencies, and 993 state assembly seats. Our record shows that these elections have produced the most diverse outcomes ever produced since 1999. Today, 5 political parties produce state governors. 7 parties won senatorial seats. 8 are represented in the House of Representatives, and 9 in the state houses of assembly. Clearly, the 10th National Assembly is certainly the most diverse in party representation since 1999. In some states around the country, different political parties control the legislative and executive arms of government. What is clear from these records also is that the days of single-party dominance of our national politics are probably gone. Furthermore, many prominent candidates lost in the constituencies they contested, and political parties lost in some of their presumed strongholds. Still, we must acknowledge that there were some challenges which were structural, infrastructural, and human in nature. Indeed, it is in furtherance of our determination to address the challenges as we prepare for future elections that the Commission is commencing its post-election review engagements today. We are presently looking at all the evidence of infractions during the election, including the prosecution of electoral offenders. We are looking at the activities of all actors involved in the election, including some of our high-ranking officials. I can confirm that the Nigeria Police concluded its investigation of the conduct of our resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State and submitted the case file to us. Appropriate action will be taken in a matter of days, and Nigerians will be fully informed. I can also confirm that we have received 215 case files from the Nigeria Police following their arrest and the conclusion of investigation into electoral offenses arising from the 2023 general election. We are working with the Nigerian Bar Association, the NBA, to prosecute the alleged offenders. Already, the Bar Association has submitted a list of 427 lawyers across the country who have volunteered to render pro bono services to the Commission. They are not charging legal fees, but by mutual agreement, the Commission will provide a token amount to cover for filing fees and other expenses. We are grateful to the Nigerian Bar Association. We are grateful to the Nigerian Bar Association and its president, Yakubu Mekeu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for this historic collaboration. Similarly, we are working with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission on the prosecution of cases relating to vote buying and associated violations. In the next few weeks, several internal debriefing meetings will be held, culminating in engagements with stakeholders. I implore the resident electoral commissioners as senior officials of the Commission to lead the discussion on all aspects of the election, from preparations, conduct, and aftermath, frankly and constructively. Among other issues, I expect you to cover such specific areas as 1, operational processes for the continuous voter registration and the general election, including planning, organization, coordination, and evaluation of activities, focusing particularly on such specific issues as the issuance of voters' cards, logistics, delivery of materials, deployment of personnel, and so on and so forth. Number 2, legal framework for the conduct of elections with a view to addressing any key legal challenges that may have arisen prior to the 2023 general election, which were not envisaged before the election. 3, technologies deployed in the electoral process, including INEC voter enrollment device, the IVED, the INEC result viewing portal, the IREV, bimodal voter accreditation system, the BEVAS, party nomination portal, observers, media, and polling/collation agents accreditation portals, focusing particularly on their performance. 4, effectiveness of overall administrative procedures and channels within the Commission in the coordination and execution of pre-election, election, and post-election activities. 5, political party registration, party primaries, and nomination of candidates for the 2023 general election, as well as monitoring of the processes. 6, process of recruitment, training, deployment, and performance of all categories of ad hoc staff during the continuous voter registration exercise and the general election. And 7, strengthening the Commission's cooperation and relations with other bodies, including ministries, departments, and agencies, and non-governmental organizations, and any other issues in the electoral process that are likely to impact on the work of the Commission in future. In line with our policy, at the end of the internal review and engagement with stakeholders, a comprehensive report will be published by the Commission. Furthermore, the Commission has so far received reports from 54 accredited national and international observers. We will give equal prominence to all the reports and review them in a holistic manner to ensure that necessary lessons are learned from their conclusions and recommendations. As a Commission, we hope to continue to count on the support of stakeholders to improve the electoral process in Nigeria. Our work in INEC is enormous. As resident electoral commissioners, you are no doubt aware that there is no election season in Nigeria any longer. Numerous off-cycle and by-elections are held throughout the period between one general election and another. Even as we commence our review of the conduct of the 2023 general elections, and barely a few weeks after the inauguration of the National and State Houses of Assembly, we are already confronted with 4 by-elections as a result of resignation in the case of Surulere 1 Federal Constituency of Lagos State and death in respect of Jalingo Yorozing Federal Constituency of Taraba State, Chibok State Constituency of Borno State, and Chukun State Constituency of Kaduna State. Furthermore, the Commission is preparing for 3 off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, which are scheduled for the 11th of November 2023. We have already published the final list of candidates for the elections, and campaign in public officially commenced on the 14th of June 2023. The Commission will soon commence the regular stakeholder engagements ahead of the elections. Let me at this point specifically reiterate to the resident electoral commissioners that we are commencing these debriefings with you because you are central to the conduct of elections. Many of you performed very well during the general election under extremely challenging circumstances. I commend you for that. However, a few of you did not properly manage the tasks lawfully bestowed upon you, for which the Commission has taken some administrative action. And that's why some of you, the resident electoral commissioners, are not at this meeting today. I urge you to continue to remain loyal to your oath of office.
INEC ICT director testified and provided evidence on that. There was nothing more for INEC to say again.
So just to clarify, are you saying that what was uploaded on the IREV is different from what was on this of EC8A?
Of course, no. The form EC8A was meant to be what is on the IREV. But we have forms EC8As, we have IREV copies certified by INEC, which are completely blurred, unreadable, contains strange pictures, images. Indeed, the ICT director was given a copy or copies of these blurred forms EC8As, presumably, and was asked to tell the court how many scores that were written on those copies. If you were in the court, you would have seen his difficulty because nothing was written on those documents. So one wonders, on what basis did INEC collect the result? On what basis did you announce a result when you have results of the election given by you that are not clear, they're not readable, that are indeed blurred images, blood pictures. What are you declaring? What are you collecting?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And then going forward, what do we think that it should be done particularly to get things right? That's it. General opinions.
Okay. Today, INEC eventually opened their case. And today again, they closed their case, meaning they don't have much to say about what happened. In 176,000 polling units, no result was uploaded in real time on election day. That is the whole summary of it today. And the INEC ICT Deputy Director admitted that he could not read some of the results uploaded on IREF because they were blurred, and he told the court so. And that was after he had admitted that the result on EC8A must be identical with the result uploaded on IREF, by his own words. So we saw in court the identicality of blood results from INEC. So that was what our team was saying. We now wonder how they were able to declare results with blood results that were unreadable. So far, we ended our case, as you knew it, 1 week before now, under extreme difficulties, because we had to fight and labor to even get the documents that we are entitled to by INEC. It is unfortunate that we had to subpoena INEC to get documents. If you read the Electoral Act, there will be no place that you will see the word subpoena. What you will see is that once you apply to INEC as a public institution, they are bound to give you documents. The mere fact that we are subpoenaing tells you that we were placed in a difficult situation, but we trust in God. So far the proceeding is moving on, and by tomorrow, the second and third respondents will open their case, and let's see how it will proceed.
So what's the implication?
Well, you know, when they try to use nomenclature to confuse people, it is obvious. The summary of the whole thing, whether you say performance test, vulnerability test, whatever you want to say, was that there was a problem. And there ought not to have been a problem for an institution that took 400 billion naira to organize an election, which they tested before the election, and they confirmed everything was sound. How can you talk about technical glitch when the House of Rep, there was no technical glitch, the Senate, there was no technical glitch, and somehow you're saying that in the presidency there was technical glitch? Let me ask you a question. Does a machine have the capacity to choose the election that it will glitch on? It's only a human being that can take that decision. And I want to end on this. Thank you.
The European Union Observer Mission report on the 2023 general election, which was rejected by the federal government of Nigeria, continues to generate reactions on social media. The EU Observer Mission in its report stated that the election exposed enduring systemic weaknesses and therefore signal a need for further legal and operational reforms to enhance transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability, further stating that trust in the Independent National Electoral Commission had been severely damaged, especially as a result of the failure to upload the result of the presidential election electronically. On Monday, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, in a post on Twitter, stated that there is no election worldwide without irregularities and that the EU report cannot delegitimize the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, Keyamo came under fire after some social media users pulled up page 92 of the EU mission report, highlighting misinformation during the general election, and Keyamo's tweet in which he alleged, by posting a link of a report claiming that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, had paid 2 billion naira to Christian bodies as bribe. Rufai, I don't know if you saw this comment on social media.
I saw it.
With Festus Keyamo and obviously the federal government, debunking that report as
so I think my reaction is clear. I don't know what the federal government was, or Mr. Dele Alake, I should say, was debunking about the report. It's obvious they didn't, or was rejecting about the report. It's obvious they didn't read it in detail. That report was explicitly clear. And again, kudos to the EU for a good job. Empirical facts and analysis. You see, it's obvious when they read reports like this, they should go and read the methodology. Part of the argument they made that Dr. Abati enunciated yesterday was the fact that they said 11 analysts analyzed, the reports and all of that. There were some parts of the report that needed analysis based on things that were taken from many sources. So take, for instance, the report talked about how much if political parties spend on campaign online, which you can get those reports from Google AdSense. So those are the empirical facts out there. They also talked about, for all of those that used to abuse Arise TV of bias, the report exonerated Arise TV. We gave 26% coverage to the APC, 26% coverage to the PDP, 19% coverage to Labour Party, which was one of the most balanced coverage. TVC gave 53% to APC. 53%. So you see, facts don't lie, because there were a lot of shenanigans. And I'm saying this, that's why I had to ask our guest yesterday to provide empirical fact that Arise was biased. But thank God the report explicitly stated all of this. And only to crown it all, Mr. Festus Keyamo, a former minister, then a serving minister of the Federal Republic, and another former minister, Mr. FFK, were found to be the bastions of misinformation online.
Yes.
How low can our ministerial positions go in this country? Because of politics? So the report was empirically clear. And all the submissions it made were things based on interpretation that were out there. Talked about the violence that was reported. Talked about coverage. Talked about participation of women in politics. Talked about the dwindling numbers. Talked about the methodology at which he did it. Empirical analysis. But why is it that people that can't even take the pain to write their own reports are the ones that are quick to condemn reports? And there were recommendations there that if we want to go forward, follow what was simply written in the Ways reports.
Yes, we have the recommendations. Well, all right.
Guard citizens even more and do the same. Help ensure that polling areas are clean. Was there no violence? We saw the violence that happened in Lagos and other parts of the country. Did not exonerate any party, gave blame to every party necessary. The report was even so detailed to the extent that the hashtags members of various political parties used, things like hashtag Tifnubu, they talked about it, hashtag Obidiot, they talked about it, and how all political parties spread hate messaging. So it was not skewed to any political party.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
all political, both APC, Labour, and PDP, we all spread hate messaging.
Yes, it was
and he cautioned them.
Yes.
And how WhatsApp, and we should be careful about WhatsApp. WhatsApp can be a dangerous tool if care is not taken. How WhatsApp was used to spread a great deal of misinformation. The report stated everything clearly, not slanted towards anybody.
Yeah.
And they said people reject
Well,
what?
Festus Keyamo was trending on social media yesterday. Let me take a tweet from JP, I believe. He wrote, breaking, Festus Keyamo and Fanny Kayode made it to page 92 of the EU report for spreading fake news on social media. EU took a screenshot of Mr. Keyamo's fake news tweet. This is a huge embarrassment to the legal profession. ASAN, spreading fake news on social media. Now I know why he has been wailing since the report came out. Ayo.
Yes, I agree that it's quite, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing because when that kind of reports from an organization that have demonstrated that they are, credible, they have a track record of monitoring elections, can slam a public official, especially a senior advocate of Nigeria, it is very embarrassing. And they had proof. One of the things we talked about is that it wasn't just a report that was written by amateurs. They gave evidence, they screenshot messages like that. And we must always remember that whether in political season, whether it's when emotions are high, when you put words out there, there's proof. And proof will outlive you sometimes, especially when you put messages like that on social media. In terms of Mr. Festus Keyamo's statement with regards to it's the courts that will determine whether this government is legitimate or not. Yes, I have to pick that out of that tweet. Absolutely correct. This report is independent, and there was a disclaimer given at the beginning of the report that this does not even represent the views of the EU. This was what the observers had seen on ground and what they were reporting based on facts. The hashtag All Eyes on the Judiciary has been trending. In fact, some people are saying perhaps they should take up a billboard and put it around so that people can see that we are watching and we are looking forward to the judiciary to give justice and be fair in their judgment. Very important. At the end of the day, this report, the way we've made it such a, of course, because of the content of it, is not the deciding factor. At the end of the day, it is the court that will determine whether or not this government is legitimate or not. And so again, hashtag all eyes on judiciary.
This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.